He came with a smile and a camera. He said he was here to tell Africa's story. But what nobody knew was that he wasn't filming a documentary. He was mapping secrets. He wasn't hunting truth, he was hunting targets. It started quietly. A man with fair skin, clean shoes, and a French accent landed at Ouagadougou International Airport with a tourist visa and a press badge clipped to his shirt. To customs officials, he presented himself as a freelance journalist eager to understand Burkina Faso's security challenges and share local voices with the world. This seemingly ordinary arrival masked an extraordinary mission, one that would unravel not just his intentions but also expose broader patterns of exploitation often hidden behind polished facades. As we delve deeper into this narrative, you'll discover how appearances can deceive, why vigilance is critical in safeguarding national interests, and what happens when courage meets cunning on the global stage. Stay tuned because this story isn't merely about espionage, it's about reclaiming agency in a world where power dynamics are constantly shifting. The man who stepped off the plane at Ouagadougou International Airport exuded confidence, his demeanor calibrated to perfection. His tailored beige trousers and spotless white shirt conveyed professionalism, while his neatly pressed press badge symbolized authority. He spoke fluent French, effortlessly charming customs officials by praising President Ibrahim Traoré's leadership, a rare example, he claimed, of young African leaders standing up to Western influence. It's inspiring, he remarked warmly, adding layers of authenticity to his persona. Locals immediately warmed to him, his politeness seemed genuine, his gestures thoughtful. Water bottles handed out to taxi drivers, pens gifted to schoolchildren, and cups of tea shared in village markets painted a picture of someone deeply invested in understanding Burkina Faso's culture and struggles. However, beneath this veneer of goodwill lay meticulous planning and calculated moves designed to extract sensitive information under the guise of journalistic inquiry. Every interaction served dual purposes, building trust while gathering intel. For instance, during casual conversations over tea, he subtly probed villagers about their perceptions of government stability or military presence without raising suspicion. These interactions weren't random acts of kindness, they were strategic reconnaissance missions disguised as cultural immersion exercises. Moreover, his attire and accessories played significant roles in reinforcing his cover identity. Clean shoes suggested urban sophistication rather than rugged fieldwork typical of investigative reporters venturing into remote areas. Likewise, his press badge acted not only as a credential but also as a psychological tool, a symbol of authority that opened doors otherwise closed to outsiders. By presenting himself as part of the international media corps, he gained access to spaces frequented by locals yet rarely scrutinized by foreigners. This initial phase of infiltration relied heavily on exploiting human tendencies toward hospitality and curiosity. People naturally want to believe the best in others, especially those who appear respectful and interested in learning from them. This inherent trust became both his shield and sword, enabling him to operate freely within communities unaware of his true objectives. To further solidify his cover, he adopted behaviors consistent with foreign journalists, taking photographs of sunsets, goats, and bustling markets. Yet, behind the lens of his camera, he was capturing something far more sinister: strategic locations, transport routes, and weak points in national infrastructure. Each photograph and note contributed to a larger mosaic of intelligence destined for undisclosed recipients abroad. For example, during one visit to a village near a military installation, he struck up a conversation with a guard, asking innocuous questions about daily routines and logistics. When the soldier joked, "You ask more questions than our own commander," the man laughed it off, responding with practiced ease, "That's how journalists learn." Yet, far from seeking knowledge for public enlightenment, these inquiries aimed to gather intelligence vital to national security. His ability to blend seamlessly into the environment while extracting critical information underscored his expertise in covert operations. In essence, this initial phase of infiltration relied heavily on exploiting human tendencies toward hospitality and curiosity. People naturally want to believe the best in others, especially those who appear respectful and interested in learning from them. This inherent trust became both his shield and sword, enabling him to operate freely within communities unaware of his true objectives. As weeks passed, the so-called journalist ventured deeper into territories most reporters avoided, places teeming with strategic value. Military camps, rail lines, and guarded installations became frequent stops on his itinerary. Each visit was meticulously planned, each question carefully crafted to elicit specific details about transport routes, mine shipments, and other logistical operations vital to national security. When soldiers joked about his relentless questioning, "You ask more questions than our own commander," he laughed it off, responding with practiced ease, "That's how journalists learn." Yet, far from seeking knowledge for public enlightenment, these inquiries aimed to gather intelligence destined for undisclosed recipients abroad. His nightly rituals further underscored his clandestine agenda. Unlike typical travelers who might unwind after long days exploring unfamiliar landscapes, this man retreated to a secluded guesthouse on the city's outskirts. There, amidst dimly lit rooms devoid of any indulgence like alcohol or social gatherings, he conducted encrypted communications using private channels. Never once did he rely on local SIM cards or post updates online, a stark contrast to modern-day journalists accustomed to sharing snippets of their work across digital platforms. Instead, all data flowed through secure servers located outside Burkina Faso, ensuring minimal traceability back to its source. Intelligence agencies began piecing together fragments of evidence pointing towards something sinister. Burkina operatives quietly monitored his activities, cloning his devices remotely without physical contact. Logs revealed streams of intercepted emails, texts, and voice messages containing coded references to strategic locations and personnel movements. None of this aligned with conventional journalistic practices. Instead, they mirrored classic espionage tactics employed by seasoned spies. Despite claims of preparing a comprehensive European report, no articles surfaced in reputable outlets such as Le Monde or Libération. The absence of tangible output raised red flags among astute observers familiar with standard industry protocols. Ultimately, suspicions crystallized around one pivotal incident: sightings near a restricted radio tower late at night. Such proximity to sensitive infrastructure warranted immediate attention. Surveillance intensified, culminating in undeniable proof of covert operations masquerading as legitimate journalism. What initially appeared as eccentric behavior transformed into clear indications of betrayal, a betrayal rooted in deception cloaked within the noble pursuit of storytelling. For instance, intercepted communications revealed detailed maps labeled explicitly for review by entities beyond borders. These documents included oil routes, mine locations, and unmarked depots, underscoring the depth of his infiltration. Additionally, logs showed encrypted emails dispatched to suspicious contacts linked to French military contractors operating covertly across West Africa. Shock reverberated visibly among assembled journalists as implications sank in. Each revelation stripped layers of deceit bare, exposing systemic vulnerabilities exploited under false pretenses. Confronted directly, Morel faltered, unable to deny irrefutable truths, staring back accusingly. Silence enveloped the room, punctuated solely by gasps echoing disbelief. In that instant, roles reversed dramatically, from interrogator to accused. Morel embodied betrayal incarnate. President Traoré seized the opportunity to address millions watching globally via broadcast feeds. They send us not aid nor apologies but spies wielding cameras masquerading as storytellers. They assume we will smile and remain silent, but times have changed. With finality resonating profoundly, Traoré turned towards Morel, delivering a chilling verdict encapsulating justice served publicly. You came for stories. Now you are the story. Guards escorted Morel out quietly, leaving behind echoes of defiance reverberating nationwide, a testament to collective awakening fueled by courage confronting duplicity head-on. When President Ibrahim Traoré reviewed the dossier compiled against Julien Morel, he didn't order a clandestine raid or swift deportation. Instead, he devised a plan that showcased transparency and accountability, a strategy designed to empower citizens and deter future infiltrators. Thus, an invitation extended to Morel for a press conference hosted by the presidential office itself marked the beginning of a dramatic confrontation poised to unfold live before national audiences. Unlike traditional media events flooded with international correspondents, this gathering featured hand-picked local journalists alongside one unexpected guest added last minute, Mr. Julien Morel, freelance journalist from France. Upon entering the compound, Morel exuded unwavering confidence, greeting guards casually as if expecting nothing unusual. Dressed similarly to his arrival weeks prior, beige trousers, crisp shirt, an ever-present press badge, he carried only a shoulder bag, notebook, and faint smirk betraying underlying arrogance. Inside, however, tension thickened palpably. Cameras rolled silently, capturing every nuance of the sparse setting devoid of typical amenities like printed questions or elaborate setups. 6 chairs formed a half-circle facing a solitary microphone where President Traoré waited, clad not in formal attire but military fatigues and unspoken declaration of readiness and resolve. As Morel settled into his seat, unease crept in unnoticed until the moment President Traoré entered, commanding attention effortlessly. Without preamble, Traoré initiated dialogue, acknowledging Morel's prolonged stay and extensive travels throughout Burkina Faso. Understand what? Traoré prompted, challenging vague responses regarding security infrastructure and foreign relations. Sensing discomfort, Morel attempted deflection, asserting journalistic prerogative to explore untold stories. However, calm persistence unraveled pretexts rapidly. Traoré then unveiled damning evidence, photographs documenting unauthorized visits to military zones, screenshots of encrypted emails dispatched to suspicious contacts linked to French military contractors operating covertly across West Africa. Shock reverberated visibly among assembled journalists as implications sank in. Each revelation stripped layers of deceit bare, exposing systemic vulnerabilities exploited under false pretenses. Most damningly, real-time maps detailing oil routes, mine locations, and unmarked depots materialized on-screen, labeled explicitly for review by entities beyond borders. Confronted directly, Morel faltered, unable to deny irrefutable truths, staring back accusingly. Silence enveloped the room, punctuated solely by gasps echoing disbelief. In that instant, roles reversed dramatically, from interrogator to accused. Morel embodied betrayal incarnate. President Traoré seized the opportunity to address millions watching globally via broadcast feeds. They send us not aid nor apologies but spies wielding cameras masquerading as storytellers. They assume we will smile and remain silent, but times have changed. With finality resonating profoundly, Traoré turned towards Morel, delivering a chilling verdict encapsulating justice served publicly. You came for stories. Now you are the story. Guards escorted Morel out quietly, leaving behind echoes of defiance reverberating nationwide, a testament to collective awakening fueled by courage confronting duplicity head-on. Within hours of the televised exposé, the video clip featuring President Ibrahim Traoré's calm yet firm interrogation of Julian Morel ricocheted across digital platforms, igniting discussions worldwide. Social media erupted with reactions ranging from auto-outrage, as users in Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, and Mali reposted snippets captioned with declarations like, "This is how you protect your country." In Burkina Faso, shops paused music playlists to replay the press conference repeatedly, transforming bustling markets into impromptu viewing arenas. One woman selling textiles remarked poignantly, "They used to come with guns. Now they come with cameras." Her words encapsulated a generational shift in tactics but underscored the enduring threat posed by external forces attempting to exploit Africa's vulnerabilities. Across West Africa, the video galvanized unity among nations grappling with similar incursions. Students in Dakar painted murals depicting Traoré alongside bold slogans, "Africa has eyes now." Meanwhile, a viral tweet originating in Ghana captured regional sentiment succinctly. He didn't raise his voice, but he raised the standard. These expressions highlighted not just admiration for Traoré's leadership but also a collective realization that surveillance disguised as journalism represented a new frontier of colonialism, one requiring vigilance and resistance. In stark contrast, France responded defensively, issuing terse statements through its Ministry of Foreign Affairs calling for fair treatment of its citizen without addressing the overwhelming evidence presented. Their refusal to acknowledge intercepted emails, detailed maps, or connections to Abidjan-based operatives betrayed discomfort, underscoring diplomatic limitations when confronted with undeniable truths. While official channels remained muted, French public discourse simmered with unease, questioning ethical boundaries blurred by individuals operating under state-sanctioned ambiguity. For Burkina Faso, however, the stakes transcended individual accountability. Julian Morel's arrest symbolized a broader reckoning, a rejection of historical narratives perpetuated by outsiders claiming neutrality while advancing ulterior motives. Intelligence agencies doubled down on monitoring foreign entities, ensuring transparency became integral to governance moving forward. President Traoré refrained from additional speeches, allowing actions to speak louder than words. Evidence spoke volumes, resonating deeply within communities rallying around newfound empowerment. Globally, the incident served as a wake-up call, prompting introspection among nations historically complicit in exploitative practices. As videos continued circulating, hashtags emerged championing sovereignty over subjugation. From Lagos to Nairobi, citizens echoed sentiments crystallized in Traoré's closing remarks, "Don't mistake our silence for blindness. We see you now." Walls bore graffiti affirming vigilance. Classrooms buzzed with debates dissecting implications. This wasn't merely about catching one spy, it was about dismantling systems enabling such betrayals, fostering resilience against future attempts. Thus, what began as localized exposure evolved into continental affirmation. Africa refused to remain passive in narratives authored elsewhere. Through courage and clarity, Burkina Faso demonstrated how confronting duplicity could catalyze transformation not just domestically but regionally and globally. What unfolded in Burkina Faso serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of skepticism balanced with discernment. Trust, while foundational to human interaction, must be tempered with vigilance, particularly when dealing with individuals or entities whose motives remain opaque. President Traoré's handling of Julian Morel exemplifies how transparency can become a weapon against deception, turning perceived weaknesses into strengths. By choosing to confront betrayal publicly, Traoré not only exposed wrongdoing but also fostered a sense of collective empowerment among citizens who witnessed their leader standing firm against external manipulation. This approach underscores a critical lesson: accountability need not always occur behind closed doors. Sometimes, shining light on malfeasance amplifies its impact exponentially. Moreover, the incident highlights the evolving nature of threats faced by developing nations today. Espionage no longer relies solely on traditional methods involving direct coercion or overt aggression. Instead, modern infiltration leverages subtler tools, cameras masquerading as instruments of truth, encrypted communications cloaked in technological sophistication, and personas crafted to exploit cultural goodwill. Understanding these nuances equips societies to recognize patterns indicative of ulterior motives, whether embedded within seemingly benign interactions or sophisticated operations orchestrated across borders. On a broader scale, Burkina Faso's response offers a blueprint for nations navigating similar challenges. Rather than succumbing to fear or retreating into isolationism, embracing openness and leveraging available resources can neutralize even the most insidious threats. Intelligence agencies worldwide should take note. Proactive measures coupled with decisive action yield results far surpassing reactive strategies reliant on containment alone. Furthermore, fostering education around digital literacy and cybersecurity ensures populations remain informed participants rather than unwitting victims in an increasingly interconnected world. Ultimately, this episode reinforces the timeless adage that knowledge truly is power. By unveiling hidden agendas and reclaiming narratives hijacked by opportunists, Burkina Faso demonstrated that resilience stems not from avoiding conflict but from confronting it head-on with integrity, purpose, and unwavering resolve. As history continues unfolding, let this chapter inspire vigilance, unity, and determination among all striving to safeguard sovereignty amidst shifting global dynamics. President Ibrahim Traoré's final address in a humble school courtyard encapsulated the essence of a transformative moment for Africa. Standing amidst children seated cross-legged, farmers leaning against walls, and traders gathered attentively, he delivered a message devoid of grandeur yet rich in conviction. "They have been watching us for years," he declared, his voice steady, "not to help us but to control what we say, what we build, what we dream." These words resonated deeply, painting a vivid portrait of centuries-old exploitation repackaged in contemporary forms, cameras replacing rifles, soft words concealing sharp wires. Yet, Traoré reminded everyone present that recognition of these tactics marked the first step toward liberation. Awareness breeds resilience, and resilience fuels change. The phrase "we see you now" became more than a slogan. It evolved into a movement etched on the walls, shared across TikTok videos, and debated fervently in university halls from Dar es Salaam to Accra. It signified a continent waking up to its potential, refusing to remain passive recipients of narratives authored elsewhere. No longer would smiles mask blindness, instead, they would reflect clarity born from experience. This awakening extended beyond borders, uniting diverse cultures under a shared banner of self-determination. Each mural, each hashtag, each whispered affirmation reinforced a singular truth: Africa possesses agency and intends to wield it boldly. Julian Morel's detention symbolized accountability, yes, but more importantly, it represented a turning point. Gone are the days when outsiders could exploit hospitality under the guise of camaraderie. Today, cameras trained inward serve as mirrors reflecting strength rather than lenses distorting reality. Through courage and conviction, Burkina Faso illuminated a path forward, one where dignity prevails over duplicity, where vigilance triumphs over vulnerability. And as the sun set over Ouagadougou, casting golden hues across faces uplifted in solidarity, one thing became abundantly clear: this time, Africa didn't stay quiet.